Before we head off on our adventures, we have a little time to get prepared. We plan on having bikes and possibly even e-bikes, and also been in need of a new bike rack. With our future adventures in mind, we have been researching bike racks and settled on the Velocirax. Check out their website to learn all about how they work and how to buy one. We chose the 5-place 5X bike rack. The X in 5X spaces out the bikes nicely to keep the pedals and handlebars from hitting. Velocirax makes 3 to 7-place hitch mount racks. We wanted a rack that would last us the rest of our lives. The Velocirax looked simple and solid, but they're not cheap. They are a newer company and not yet sold in stores. We had to wait 2 months after ordering the rack to pick it up at a private residence about a 2-hour drive from our northern Utah home. We're going to have another video showing the use of the rack and our opinions after using it for a while. This video is our experience on installing the rack. Alright guys, so I just got back from Alpine, Utah, where I picked up a new Velocirax. Been waiting for this thing for about 2 months. I had to order it and then wait. Anyway, I'm pretty excited to check this thing out. They come in several different configurations as far as how many bikes they hold. I got the 5 bike, so put that together and see what you think. It come with these instructions I've been checking out. Seems to be pretty clear. Shows you exactly what you need to put together in what order. Alright, I'm going to put this piece in here. This is just the receiver hitch. Notice the wedge that will tighten up a little bit later to help so it doesn't rattle while it's in there. There's some pins that hook on here. I almost wanted to use those to put this thing together, but that's not how it goes. So just go ahead and make sure that the bolt and that wedge is backed off. The bolt to tighten it's going to be right here. Make sure it's backed off, slide it in. Then you're going to see this is the pin that comes with it, as well as some keys that you get with that to be able to lock that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and grab these big nylon washers and the bolt to hold the upright in. Pretty slick. I'm gonna throw this upright on. It goes right in here. It's gonna be a little awkward by myself. I'd really hate for it to tip over and knock out my back windshield. So I'm kind of laying out my bolt washer for this other side over here, and these washers. I think I have a pretty good idea how I can slide it together. Pretty slick. So we'll give it a shot. You feel there's a little pin underneath this. You see if I can tip this and show you. So there's a little pin, and that pin's going to fit in a hole down here. So I can tell that if I fit this right in here, I just make sure it drops into that hole, and then this hole actually lines up perfectly for the bolt. I got to make sure that I get these big old washers in here. So I'm just going to slide those down from the top. Kind of hold them so they line up. This could be kind of awkward, but I don't think it's going to be too bad, huh? Not too bad. Same thing on this side. Hole's already close on this side. I'm going to get I don't have the bolt all the way through. I'm just going to let it slide down in. Put that bolt through. Make sure I got a washer. This is a 24 millimeter, I believe. 24 millimeter bolt. Or bolt and nut, torque down to 45 foot-pounds. Well, I don't know about you, but 24 millimeters is pretty freaking big. So I don't have that many millimeters in my collection. I do have 22 millimeter deep wall impact socket, but I'm gonna need a little more. So I got this big freaking crescent wrench, and then this adjustable wrench over here, and we're going to make it work just fine. So yeah, no sockets to torque this down perfectly, but what do you do? This is a nylon nut, so it's going to hold on there pretty well. So think you're just gonna want this snug so that you don't have rattle back and forth, but it's got to move up and down, you know, pivot up and down, so don't get it too tight. We literally picked up these, I picked up this rack from the guy's house, from the owner's house. It's cool to see some products made here in Utah. I like to buy local stuff. So it's pretty neat. One of the problems he said that they're having is not necessarily with this nut and bolt, maybe with this one as well, but the other ones up higher, that people are just torquing them down too hard. So you don't want to get too crazy. Anyway, I think we got it there. We'll see how that works. And this is the part that adjusts that wedge that I showed you that keeps it from rattling. So you're supposed to kind of move this hitch up and down as you tighten it, and to make sure that that fits in there real nice. Sorry. 25 foot-pounds. It's a 17mm socket. All right, next part's this crossbar. As you can see, I don't know if you notice right here, it says to put one side off. One side's shorter, one side's longer. The bolts do line up that way, so that's something you're going to want to look for. Well, these are 19 and 18mm, so 19 on the nut side and 18 on the bolt side. This is where these guys were saying the people are getting these too tight and bending the tube, so just get it snug. Again, it's a nylon lock nut, can't go wrong. All right, and now we're going to install that bottom crossbar. Looks like we have a couple of 2.5-inch long bolts with washers and nuts, and yeah, that should be pretty easy. This almost can't really go any other direction just because you got either this tab in the way or you got a couple of these studs in the way. So pretty much only one way it can go. Well, 18mm, 19mm. Alright, next for me is these little tie-down straps. Should be 10 of them. Straps go on pretty slick. I just put them all on the same side so we can just slap them over. And these guys up here, I don't know if it would be advantageous to put them up on here and then bring them down, but we'll have to do a video about that and see how this thing works, what the best way to put stuff together is. But it looks pretty good. I gotta set the little dealio right there. You know what I'm talking about? The dealio, the thingamabob? Right there. You gotta set that next. Pull that pin out. Releases this. Push the shocks down in. Set that in there. And this, I think, is kind of a limiter, to see, from what I understand. So let's see how that works. All right, let's see how this works. Release that, latch up top. How it works is just really hard. It's So if you have a lot of weight on there, okay, that makes sense. Clears. It clears. Cool. Nice. A few leftover parts. It looks like here this rail's to hang it up on the wall. So I'm going to make another video for that. We'll see what this thing looks like hanging up on the wall. Pretty excited for that too. Overall, this was an easy rack to install. I liked that the fasteners were generic, and if they ever need to be replaced, it will be as simple as making a run to the hardware store. Look for our follow-up video on how the rack performed and our thoughts after using it for a couple of months. Hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more about our adventures as we prepare to live full-time in an RV while towing our Jeep.